Good evening, fellow tipsiers. It's Ranger Dave coming to you from almost 7,000 feet of elevation outside of beautiful Colorado Springs. It was a gorgeous day, if you can't tell. I actually just got back from the trail a little while ago. Have a great video for you tonight. A great trail and a great beverage. So we have Horse Thief Falls, just a little bit outside of town. And because we're staying close to Colorado Springs, a little local beer, Bristol Beehive, a favorite on a warm summer day. So anyway, sit back, relax, pop open a cold one, and let's get to work. Well, I hope you don't mind. I already opened a nice beehive for tonight's video. And really quick, I want to talk a little bit about the channel and what we're trying to accomplish before we dive into the trail tonight. So really quick, Tipsy Above Treeline. The channel really marries two passions I have and many of my hiking friends have as well. The first of which is hiking in Colorado, world-class trails, and just love experiencing that beauty that's out there. And then second, quite frankly, the other passion is a nice adult beverage, especially while you're on the trail. Highly recommend it. Be safe, but highly recommend it. We said, hey, let's educate people on some of the trails that are out there. And then let's also educate people on some of the adult beverage offerings that are local to these trails. Whether that's a brewery, a meadery, a distillery, doesn't matter. Many of them are great. So in any event, that starts with tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about Horse Thief Falls, right outside of Colorado Springs. Right outside means a little over an hour away. So starting in town, you're going to head west. You're going to hit Woodland Park and then Divide, Colorado. And in Divide, you're going to take a left or go south. About 10 miles down the road is Horse Thief Falls. There's many trails in the area. I always tell people, quick pro tip, use AllTrails, use gut hooks to find where you're supposed to park. Just makes things a little easier. The trail's about 2.6 miles round trip. About 550 feet of elevation gain. So right off, kind of an easier trail from a distance standpoint, family friendly in that respect. In fact, you'll see most of my family came with me on this trail and we had a great time. As far as the elevation gain piece, I'd say it's moderate. The reason being, you're going to gain the majority of that elevation in the first half a mile. It's going to get your blood pumping, it's going to get your heart rate up, and it's great from that perspective. So it's a good workout, not too long, and has great scenery. So you're going to see some shots of the mountains in the background. You're going to see a creek that runs through probably about half of the trail, and it's just real peaceful. That creek is fed by a waterfall, thus Horse Thief Falls. The waterfall is well over 100 feet tall. It's usually not roaring. It's usually a nice trickle, nice stream. Again, really peaceful, but it's pretty in its own respect as well. Along the way, while you're hiking the trail, you're going to see some other trails that are tempting, and I would say, hey, check them out if you're able. The first of which is Pancake Rocks. That's certainly going to get its own video at some point. That's a much tougher trail than this is, a little longer, more elevation gain, deserves its own adult beverage. So just be aware as you're hiking, hey, to the right, you can go to Pancake Rocks. And if you have little ones, if you don't intend to go that route, certainly don't go that route. It's a tougher trail. To the left is Ring the Peak Trail. Ring the Peak goes all the way around Pikes Peak. It's still being built, still in production. But be aware at that sign to the left of it, to the south of it, sorry, to the north of it, there's actually camping in that area. You're free to camp. So if you're one of those backpackers that like to hike in, camp near a water source, this might be for you. I have seen people camp near the falls. I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not. I've certainly seen it, but it's just a really beautiful area. There's also a lot of wildlife in the area. I've seen bighorn sheep on the road. I've seen elk. I've seen deer. There was even a fox one time when my son and I were hiking this trail early in the morning. So if you like wildlife, there's a chance you'll see it. I don't see it every time, but I certainly see it enough that it deserves a mention. And just overall, it's a really family-friendly trail that's beautiful and highly recommended, especially if you're in the area. In fact, it's one of the first trails I hiked when I moved to Colorado Springs. Really quick about Bristol Brewing and Beehive. So Bristol is a brewery here in Colorado Springs, been around since 1994. They have many different offerings. You'll see them in bars. You'll see them certainly at liquor stores. Almost every liquor store here has to have Bristol Brewing. They have many different types of beer, and many of them are great. Beehive is a lighter beer, more of like a blonde, with some honey notes to it. It's great on that hot summer day. You're watching the kids play outside, or you're mowing. Cracking open a cold one and just enjoying it. And certainly recommended in its own respect in that way. But overall, they just make a great pairing. You can't ask for more on a nice summer day than cracking open a nice refreshing beer and going on a trail. The video you're going to see tonight actually came from late May. That's where you're going to see some ice and snow. I've hiked this trail year round, so be aware, depending on the time of year, you might see packed snow in the winter time and the early to mid spring. In the summertime, usually the falls and the creek are running. Toward late summer, early fall, sometimes it's barely a trickle, just because it gets dry. The lakes are kind of tapped out, so just be aware, depending on time of year, that could make a difference. I really enjoy this trail kind of late spring through the summertime. In any event, we're going to start on the highway where there's parking, and we're going to take it away. And I would just say sit back and enjoy a nice cold one. And as always, live life long, loose, and full of juice. All right, well, we are at the highway. Where's the beginning of Horse Thief Falls Trail. Beautiful day, beautiful backdrop. Fairly cloudy, but you can see the mountain peaks in the background, snow-capped collegiate peaks. Here with the tipsy trio of Abigail. You can see her behind me. And then the other two of the tipsy trio. So we're gonna get started. A little warm out, about 82 degrees. So the beer at the top will be very refreshing. Looking forward to it. Let's get started. All right, well, we made it past the uphill portion. That was only about 8/10 of a mile up. It is a workout. It got all of our heart rates up, which is great. And once it flattens out, and we're about, 200 yards from where it flattens out, you start seeing some meadows, which are just beautiful. But then also you have this stream that is fed by that waterfall that we're headed to behind us. And it is just such a pretty place, very peaceful. Great place to come up if you want to spend an hour just sitting by the stream in a meadow or in the tree line. Just a great spot. There is camping through here, so in just a little bit we're going to hit an intersection at the trail that's part of the Ring the Peak trail, which goes around Pikes Peak. There is camping to the southern portion of that. I'm not sure about the northern portion, but I know in the southern portion of the intersection there is camping. I'll be sure to point that out. Otherwise, we're going to enjoy walking by the stream and continue heading to the waterfall. How we doing, little tipsies?
We're doing good.
Where are we at? Hey, there we are. Thumbs up. There we go. How about little tipsy? Little tipsy. Well, hey, as you can see, we've made it to the top here. Gorgeous waterfall. Usually this time of year it's flowing just a little more, but that's okay. It's been hot out, so maybe there's just not as much water. We certainly need some more rain, even though we had a late snow and some rain lately. That could be playing into it. You can see behind me there's still a nice ice sheet. So it's still getting pretty cool at night up at this elevation. I think we're at about 10,000 feet, maybe just a hair above 10,000 feet. And it's certainly cooled off from where we were at earlier. It was 91 degrees at our house. It was about 82 at the vehicle where we parked. And I would imagine it's probably mid-70s up here. So just absolute gorgeous day. Beautiful trickle from the stream and waterfall behind me, as you can see in these shots. And a great time for a nice adult beverage. So with me is Bristol Beehive. It's a honey wheat made by Bristol Brewing in Colorado Springs. If you ever get a chance, Bristol has a tasting room at Ivywild. Ivywild is a converted school, multiple restaurants within it that are just amazing. Bristol Brewing is great. They have Axe and Oak, which is also great, a distillery. Their whiskeys will certainly make an appearance here. But anyway, if you get a chance, go to Ivywild. It's a must stop if you're in Colorado Springs. In any event, hot summer day deserves a nice, lighter, fresh, sweet beer. Now, I'll tell you, it really hits the spot. You can certainly taste the honey notes. There's a little bit of that wheat taste in it. But overall, just a really easy drinking beer. Mowing the yard, outside on a hot summer day, doing something that gets your heart rate up, a little bit of sweat on your brow. This is where it's at. And it's certainly welcome up here. In any event, we're going to spend a few minutes enjoying the nice creek. And then I think a little tipsy on my back is getting a little restless. So we're going to start to make our way down. I can't talk. But it's been a great hike. This is certainly one that you could take just about the entire family on. I mean, unless you have a really small kid, kids will be able to make it. The beginning's a little tough, but that's okay. And if they are little, hey, just get a backpack and take them along for the ride. In any event, I appreciate you coming out today. We'll take a few more shots on the way out, and we'll get back to the car, maybe even get some ice cream in Woodland Park. So it's a public intoxication if you're walking through the woods with a beer? Certainly hope not. A little tipsy's getting fussy. We're walking back, finishing the beer. It's all downhill, so really easy. Hopefully there's no cops along the way. There's not.